What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Isaac Inspires. We're going to talk about fretboard knowledge. Okay, so if you watched the last video that I made, we talked a little bit about how to get what you're hearing out on bass. And there I said that there are two things that are important to know. Well, there's three, but there's two things that we'll talk about. One was scales and the other was fretboard knowledge. Okay, so today we're going to talk through fretboard knowledge. Okay, so what is fretboard knowledge? It's knowing the entirety of your fretboard. Now, that sounds intimidating at first, right? Because in my case, I have a 5-string, but you might have a 4-string, you might have a 6-string. And you're like, man, I got to memorize the entire fretboard. To an extent, but it's actually easier than it sounds. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys some tricks that you guys can use in order to master your fretboard. All right. So my bass in particular is tuned down a whole step from the normal tuning. So instead of B, E, A, D, G, I have A, D, G, C, F. Okay. So I'm going to speak in terms of my bass. The same rules apply just to your tuning. Okay. So just keep that in mind. So this is A for me. All right. So the first thing to think about is a regular keyboard, right? We want to think chromatically. Chromatically means that we're going up the scale, playing every single note possible. Right, all the way up. So the first thing we got to think about is, okay, what are all the possible notes? Okay. So let's start with A. Okay. If you look on a keyboard, A has a black key to its right. We're going, let me do it this way, to the right. Okay. That's my left, so you're right. We're going to the right. So if you look on A on a keyboard, as you see here, you see A and then you see a note, a black note on top of it. That means that there is a sharp or a flat, depending on what you would call it. So in this case, we'd say A sharp. Okay. It's the same as B flat. Okay. Sharp means go up, flat means go back. Okay. So A, we got A sharp, and then we got B, we got C, we got C sharp because there's a black key, D, D sharp, there's a black key, E, F, F sharp, black key, G, G sharp, and then we're back to A. Now, here's the thing that if you really paid attention, here's the thing you'll realize. A started here for us. And by the time we went all the way up, we ended up here. Now, why is this significant? Our open string, I'm going to play G. If you notice, is the same as this double dot here. Right? It's just an octave up. Okay. What that means is it's the same note, it's just higher up here. Now, if you have one of these 24 fret basses, you have another one up here. Okay. But if you don't, that's okay. So these double dots are going to be your friend because it essentially resets your bass. So if you have G here, you know you have G on this double dot. Okay. If you have D here, you know you have D on this double dot. Okay. So you essentially have one half of your bass here, and then your second half of the bass is here. All right. So now that makes fretboard knowledge a lot easier because you don't have to memorize everything top down. All you got to do is memorize the top. Once you memorize the top, it's the same on the bottom. All right. So let's go through this. So let's start on the first string that we have, which is A. We have A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, back to A. Now, the cool thing is most of your basses will have these dots or there'll be some type of inlay. And what you can use is you can use those as your cheat codes. Okay. So if I know this is A sharp, B, C, C for me is the first dot on the first string. So I can memorize that. I can just say, okay, hey, on my first string, if I want to play C, I know that it is the first dot on my string. So I'm good from there, right? Now, what you could do, if you want to find all the possible C's on your bass, right? You want to know where every single C is because you can figure it out from there, right? But you just want to know where it is. Then we can imply, or we can impart the major scale. Okay, we can use the major scale. So if you know the major scale going horizontally, then you know that it's here. So you have another C right here on the third string, second dot. Now again, this is on my A bass, so if you have a B bass or an E bass, it's gonna be different, but the pattern applies, right? So if I play my major scale, I end up with another C. Now watch this. I play it again, I end up with another C. So I just found 3 C's on my bass, right? Now, here's the cool thing. The number of strings you have will tell you how many C's you have on the upper half of the bass. Okay, so I have 5 strings, which means that there are 5 possible C's on this upper half of the bass. Now, there's 5 possible C's on the upper half. That means that there's 5 possible C's on the lower half, which means that in total, there are 10 C's on this bass, right? So I have so many options to choose from. So I know this is C, I know this is C, I know this is C. Now, we talked about going down chromatically, but you can also use the major scale going down, obviously, right? So if we have this C, right? Now I'm gonna do a video in a little bit talking about the major scale too, so stay tuned for that if you're not super familiar. But the point is, what you could do is you could say, okay, G is next to C, right? Because C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So I can say, okay, let's go G, and then I can go A, B, C, and I can find another C down here, right? And then I can use the major scale again. So initially I found the C on the first string, the third string, and the fifth string. And then I use this pattern to find the C on the second string and the fourth string. So now I have C here, C here, C here, C here, and C here. Okay. So I found 5. Now here's the really cool part, right? I said that this double dot is the same thing as an open string. So when I found this C here, what does that mean? I have a C here too. All right, so use this trick in order to find all the notes that you need. Now, another thing about fretboard knowledge, which is really cool, outside of being able to just duplicate it, is that you'll hear that the tones of each one of these C's sound different, right? Even the C's that are in the same pitch sound different. So this C here and this C here sound different, right? Okay, same with this C here and this C here. Okay. Now, it's not, your bass is not going to sound like mine. It may sound a little different, but you'll be able to hear the timbre of the different notes and know that, okay, they're different. So sometimes when you're, playing through a song, or you're thinking about, okay, should I use, is this more of a warm song? Is this more of a punchy song? That might affect the C that you use, right? So like this C is a lot warmer. So if I'm doing like jazz stuff, I'm gonna use this C here. But if I'm doing like more like kind of funky stuff, now also my right hand plays a role, right? I'm gonna come farther back for the punchy stuff, and I'm gonna be farther up for the warmer stuff. But it still applies, right? So go ahead and try this out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know if you guys were able to find what you need to find, and then use this for all 12. Okay, so like we just did C together, okay, but try it for C sharp, where all the C sharps on the bass, and then from there you just kind of memorize patterns, right? So C is the first fret on the first string, D is the second fret, E is the third, or the third dot. When I say all that, I mean dots. F sharp is the fourth dot. All right, now I can just memorize that. On you guys with standard tuning, if you do B E A D G, C is the first dot on the third string, and that's really easy to kind of memorize. So from there you can find everything else, right? Now that's an option, or you can just use the major scale to figure it out, right? So let's say you had a song that was in C just a second ago, and now the song is going to A. Okay, cool. So I know A is the 6 in the major scale. So I can just find where any of my 6s are. I can go, this is A now. Or I can go, okay, this is A. Or I can go, this is A. Or this is A, right? Or I can go octaves. All right, and find A. So utilize these tricks. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Stay tuned. I'm working on something really, really cool that I know you guys are going to love and you guys are going to want to be a part of. Okay. I'm going to go really, really, really in depth on every single topic that there is to know about bass. All right. So stay tuned for that. Hoping that'll be released here in the next couple months. And yeah, so if you guys have any questions, drop it in the comments. Let's grow together, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.